You're watching ChillyBoy Productions. I'm Larry ChillyBoy Chilson, and this is our latest Game of Thrones reaction video. And today we are watching and reacting to Season 4, Episode 10. And of course, like always with these Game of Thrones videos, I'm joined by my co-host Tyler. Hey, Tyler.
Hey, these last two episodes have been pretty intense. So, I don't know how you can top that with the finale, to be honest.
Well, you know how Game of Thrones does. They like to throw them big episodes of nines at you, and then the finales have varying degrees of intensity. So we'll see. But we are also joined by our special guest this week, James from Real James. Hi, James. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, Larry. Hi, Tyler. Thanks so much for having me. It's an honor because I've been keeping up with your reaction series, not even just with Game of Thrones, but also with Daredevil. So this is so fun.
But I'm so excited. This is our first time actually getting to collab. We've had a couple moments of like live streams and talking in chats, but never like actually on screen. So I'm very happy to have you on the channel. James here also does amazing reactions to a lot of different series. So make sure to head over and check him out. But why don't you let us know before we get into the actual reaction, kind of your history with Game of Thrones. You have seen the series before, but what does that look like for you?
Yeah, so I used to actually watch it live, but I didn't have an HBO Max subscription or HBO subscription because HBO Max didn't exist.
They didn't exist.
Exactly.
What was it, so HBO Go or?
Yeah, it was Go. You're right.
Be, yeah.
I might have gotten a password from a friend or two, because I kept having to change the password. But I go down the street to my friend's house and I'd watch it every single Sunday, and it was basically like a ritual for us. It was great. It really was. Like, it was an event, right? This is what's so great about Game of Thrones is it brought us all together, and I love this show, and I actually am a fan of the final season and exactly what happens at the end too. So I'm one of those guys. Sorry, Larry. I'm sorry.
Well, we'll see about how I feel.
That's why James was invited for season 4 and not season 8.
Oh, thanks, Larry.
Oh no.
But, where did you start watching it live?
Oh, so I started watching it live, I think around season 3 it was, because the first 2 seasons my buddy had told me, he's like, you need to catch up, so I'll give you my password and I'll just let you binge watch the first 2 seasons. So I did that. We caught up on season 3 and then we just dove into it every single Sunday. But of course there are some weeks where maybe it got busy or we couldn't really coordinate, so I held on to the password and I kept watching it just to catch up.
I mean, as you do. Well, we hope you're ready to revisit one of my personal favorite season finales of the entire show, The Children. But before we get to that, let's go ahead and discuss the epic battle that ensued for episode 9 that led us here. The wildlings finally arrived at the wall, and the Night's Watch had to fend them off. We saw mammoths, we saw giants and their giant bow and arrows.
Amazing.
Literally like blasting people off of the wall. We saw some trap weapons that they have buried under the ice of the wall.
Swinging blades.
I mean, everything was there, but the battle did turn out to be epic. Janice Slint hid down with Gilly in the basement with the baby. Samuel, he survived another battle. And Ghost returned to us. We finally saw Ghost for the first time in many an episode. But our notable moments were that Ygritte killed Pip, which was sad, a sad little time. Then Gren died defending the gate against the giants trying to break in. Jon almost got taken down, but ended up killing Styr. Thank goodness. Styr, the cannibal, is gone.
Cannibal man.
And then, right as they finally saw each other once again, Ollie shoots and kills Ygritte, and she dies in Jon Snow's arms, giving Tyler's favorite moment of season 4, the head nod from Ollie.
It was just so interesting to see. It's like, yeah. It's like, no.
But that means the wildlings were fended off, at least for the moment, but they still have the numbers. So Jon, it was seen last heading beyond the wall to go and talk with and or kill Mance Rayder. But before that, obviously, we have Tyrion's story up in the arms. Jorah is roaming the desert after Daenerys kicked him out of her council. We got lots of other stories still to cover and wrap up in this finale. So let's stop all this chit chat and jump into the episode.
Let's go.
The children.
That make you nervous for more child death, Tyler?
I mean, with a title like The Children, I imagine I'll at least see it. I would imagine I'd place my bets that at least one child will die in this episode.
Oh, at least one. This is making me want to go back and rewatch all of Game of Thrones now.
I think you're like at least the third or fourth guest that's actually said that.
Yes.
Starting right off where we left.
He looks about as disheveled as I'd expect him to.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot of dead people.
Yeah.
Just always looks so majestic walking through the snow with his big black fur-topped cape.
His giant cape. Yeah. Uh-oh.
I actually love how this scene is shot like handy cam, but it's not too shaky. Like it's so dramatic.
Yeah,
Excellent.
Thankfully it's not too shaky.
I don't like this, man.
It's Steppenwolf.
I was loyal to him and to my Night's Watch vows.
All your vows.
Not all of them.
Got you in a bind there.
She's dead.
You're doing?
John wouldn't have been able to do that.
Right?
Is me being honest with you, Jon Snow, which is more than you've ever done for me. My people are and we both know that winter is coming. And if my people aren't south of the wall when it comes to this,
The famous phrase.
That's right.
You go back, you open the gates to us, and I swear to you that no one else will die. Refuse.
That seems like a fair trade for now.
Kill every last
Sure, he looks like a trustworthy guy. Yeah.
Who is it?
Round two?
Let's go.
Looks like a whole lot more men than the Night's Watch have, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'd say. Here we go. Ooh.
I almost forgot how brutal the kills are in this show.
Yeah.
Sound design just like amplifies the kills every
Really,
time.
yeah.
John is like, I don't know these people. I promise. I don't know who this is.
Yeah. I'm not with them.
Hey!
They came north.
God, I love him. So great.
Sir.
Oh my
Well,
God.
that went well.
It is customary to kneel when surrendering to a king.
Oh. Now forward.
We did not kneel.
I would just kneel.
Not looking too good.
I was sent to discuss terms with the king beyond the wall.
You're speaking to the one true king boy.
Damn.
I know he's the king. I'm Ned Stark's son.
Ooh.
What do you think he'd have done with him?
Well.
It's a loaded question, sir. Let me think on that.
I think my father would have taken him prisoner. Listen to what he had to say.
Jon Snow saved his life.
For real.
My father had seen the things that I've seen. He'd also tell you to burn the dead before nightfall.
Stannis.
Not gonna
Don't
give
pretend
him
like
any.
you're opposed to burning folks. So let's just.
Gregor is beyond saving. Well,
Let him die. He deserves death.
He does.
After what he did to Pedro Pascal.
Yeah, it just blows my mind, honestly. I mean,
Blew his mind too.
exactly.
Why is he always shook when she just like savagely burns him every time? That's all she
And
does.
He just storms off. We're really gonna Frankenstein this man back to life.
The process may change.
Oh,
Oh, so he actually is going to be like a Frankenstein monster.
Awaken him?
Oh no.
Very well then.
Well, that's all she cared about.
she said, if he's still strong, bring his ass back quick.
It don't matter if he has no, no other feelings anymore.
Right. I mean, for as much as I hate Cersei, I love her. Like, is that weird?
No,
I
Tyler
feel
feels
the
the
same.
same.
Yeah, it's a love-hate relationship kind of thing.
And if you
I'm not
recall,
interested in hearing another one of your smug stories about the time you won. This isn't going to be one of those times. I will burn our house to the ground before I let that happen.
Damn.
Oh,
and how will you do?
Gosh, she is so good. Lena Headey's so great.
Tell everyone the truth.
What?
Uh-oh. The truth.
I don't believe you.
Yes, you do.
Ooh.
Mm-mm.
I feel like it's in that moment where like the baton of power just transferred.
What a messed up family.
one of the few moments Tywin Lannister's just like a little bit speechless at the end of an
Yeah.
exchange.
Please doesn't decide to kill you. All the same, you cut it out before it does. What do you
Jesus
say?
Christ, man. Call him
Goodness.
disease.
No Daria, Andaro si Hoinoro si Elio Varu Daria, and Parmenko and Basma.
So many titles.
Nathalie Emmanuel probably opened that script every time and is like, I have to memorize this entire title.
Right.
It keeps getting longer.
I ask you to let me sell myself back to Master Migdal.
You want to return to the man in the
Is that how that works?
Please, Your Grace. The young
No
maid
takebacks.
from
Like,
Let me just sell myself back to him.
too old to change.
How about we make you an employee of his?
Yeah. Maybe not slave, more like coworker.
I did not take this city to
it's very much a reflection on Daenerys, like in her early leadership style, where she's overlooked like small areas of the places she's taken over.
But freedom means making your own choices.
Oh,
I will allow you to sign a contract with your former master. He came from the sky and
Oh man, jeez.
I knew there'd be some children death. I told you.
That's one Tyler.
I win my bet.
Drogon.
Yeah, we gotta put him in timeout.
No, Drogon knew he peased. He's like, I'm keep moving.
Roasting goats and people, and
What's next?
he's a menace.
I like this little cutie.
All right, let's rope everybody back in for a team meeting.
you know what you did was very bad. Don't kill babies.
Team meeting, everyone, down here.
I'm like, what the hell is this place?
Man, this cannot be easy for Daenerys. Oh my gosh.
We're gonna have to punish these guys.
Oh, and then the like inverted, sad version of her theme.
Right.
Oh, good point.
They're like, but we didn't roast the child.
Yeah, we're punishing the wrong one. The culprit is still out there.
She's probably like, it's safe to assume they might get 1 or 2 people, so let's just go ahead and lock them up ahead of time.
Drogon's a menace.
Oh, they're like, wait a minute.
Like, hey. You got the wrong dragon.
My babies. Oh. I guess when you're the first person to have dragons in hundreds of years, you don't really know how to train them. Or what to do with
Drogon,
them.
especially. R.I.P. everyone.
Someone just pushed Jaina Slint into the fire.
Add him to the fire
Yeah.
willingly.
What's he even doing standing down there? Oh.
Nah, man.
See who he spots through the flames.
No.
Always.
Wherever there is fire in the north,
New
Lysandra
relationship budding.
soon follows.
Yo.
We're keeping a theme here. Jon Snow likes redheads.
She loved you. She told you? No. All she ever talked about was killing you.
True sign of love.
Right.
Oh.
I was really hoping she lived though, because I was shipping John and her so badly.
Me too. I like them together. She gets her own little private burning. Where's Ollie? Where can I shame him?
Seriously.
Ollie,
You
you
did
stay
this.
far away from this pyre, sir.
Part of me was like, open your eyes or something. I don't know. Like, wake up. Live.
But don't let those eyes be blue.
Right.
True.
Kissed by fire, for real this time. It's been a while since we've seen these characters.
Yeah, who the hell are these guys? these strangers to the series for so long.
Lord. It's a long time. Hey,
I
Summer.
remember them. They look like they've been struggling.
Oh, there's the tree from his vision. in
I
episode
recognize
two.
this.
Oh,
Oh no! Surprise zombie attack.
whoop. Oop.
Zombies. They're just bones. Take them out. Uh-oh. You in danger.
Yeah, Summer.
Woo!
Yeah.
Oh no.
Uh-oh. Getting hit with a hammer.
Well, yeah.
Oh.
Looks like it's time for us to take over, Hodor.
Time to unleash my special attack.
Yes.
Oh.
Did he really just poke the non-existent skeleton's eye hole?
Just
Yeah.
suspend belief, Tyler. Suspend belief.
Kick him in his legs.
Mira's like, homie, this ain't for you. Let me. You sit down.
Yeah.
Oof.
Oof.
Oh crap.
Oh. Oh.
What the hell?
Oh man. Oh.
Come with me, Brandon Stark.
What?
Yeah.
You better do it quick.
Oh. That had
Well,
to
you
be
can always
so
come
tough.
back. Like, don't mind me.
Oh.
Oh, I
Ooh.
love that shot where you see it in his eyes. Ugh, so cool.
Well, I guess he's not coming back.
Nah, he did.
Damn. Where was she in the beginning of this?
Cannot follow us. Called us the children, but we were born long before
The children.
Come.
You couldn't have just like picked him up and moved him closer. You gotta make him crawl.
For dramatic effect.
He must do this last part of the journey on his own, Tyler.
Oh.
I guess.
I've been many things.
The three-eyed raven, eh?
Now I am what you see.
It's Dumbledore.
Brother, you're going to help me walk again.
You'll never walk again.
Oh, well, that shut that. That was immediately shot down.
Goodbye.
Well,
Oh, I love that line. Yeah.
Yay.
a little bit since we've seen them too.
Where are the horses?
Uh-oh.
Podrick is just like the greatest, you know? He's so awesome.
Such a great side character.
Not great at keeping track of horses.
Yeah.
But he's great. We love him anyway.
Other than that,
He's such a doofus, but he's great, you know?
Uh-oh. Brianna's not happy.
you better run, Podrick. Ah, we're so close.
She's like, what the hell?
Oh.
Giant woman coming at me with a sword.
Shit, later there's people coming.
Oop.
Oh.
7 blessings.
It's so exciting just seeing these people interact with each other.
Arya was so impressed with her. She was like, this is what I want to be. I want to be
my
like
role
this
model.
woman.
My role model.
I asked if you wanted something.
I'm not paid by the Lannisters.
No.
Uh-oh.
What you got there? Where'd you get it?
Gonna get some hound action.
I've been looking
Maybe.
for Lannister gold all my life. Go on, Brienne of fucking Tarth. Tell her about Lannister gold. She's not coming with you.
She is.
Oh,
Yeah! Let's do
get
it! Let's do
Here
it!
we go. Come on.
Yes!
Friendship time is over.
Who is editing this fight scene? I need to speak to them.
You're just so like, you both want the same thing.
I know, right?
You both want Arya just to be safe.
Yeah, can't we just be friends?
Yeah, that's the one thing I don't like about the fight is that it just does not track action well.
Yeah! I mean, kinda yeah, but also no. 'Cause I like both of them. Don't do it.
Oh.
What the?
Alright. That's not a tactic I've seen used before.
Ouch. Oh, yay, golly.
Oh.
Ooh.
Oh.
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 Eh. Jesus Christ.
Street rules.
Oh, Mike Tyson.
Oh. Jesus.
It's an earful.
Oh, we're getting violent.
The hand-to-hand is much better than the sword fighting.
Yeah, you would think it'd be the reverse. Uppercut. Jesus.
Oh.
Oh!
Oh.
Well, she said,
guess
you
she
want to
wins.
get gutter with it? I guess we getting dirty then.
Well, damn. All right, then. Brienne wins.
She swore an oath.
Podrick.
What? Can we fix it? Even in potential death. He's gonna be this way. Come on. This can't be the way he goes out.
I'm ready.
No. Don't do it.
He's just trying to make like her really upset so that he'll just die.
It's like, come
Everybody
on,
just go.
just kill me.
Do it.
Don't do it. Somehow we have to heal this man.
Arya's like, I got some Tylenol. Like,
Yeah.
Oh no, this is stone cold face from Arya. she is unfazed right now. Like, damn, girl.
oh.
Kill me.
All right. I was like, I'll just take your money and leave.
Arya just
Dang.
like, that's like
Savagery.
damn, Arya.
All right. So to be determined, I guess. With the hound, set that back in place.
Ooh.
What are you doing? What do you think I'm doing? The galley's waiting in the bay bound for the freezer.
We're breaking out.
Yay, Jamie.
Jamie, the
I've
real
always
one.
I've always liked Jamie. You're right. Yeah.
I have a love-hate relationship with him.
But at least he's always loved his little brother.
Exactly, right? That's
yeah,
it, Larry.
somebody does. Aw.
Oh, my heart.
No. No.
Ho ho.
No. I mean, she's already betrayed him enough, but I mean, come on.
Right.
Ugh.
Tyrion got some strength though.
Oof.
Oof. Ooh.
Well,
Oh gosh. Okay, like this shot totally unnecessary, but I get it, you know?
betrayal.
Tyrion just been going through it this season.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we about to go on a rampage, boys. He's got weapons. He's like, I'm taking everybody else with me now.
Goes through the town just dual wielding.
That's what I mean. He's on a mission now. No. What a compromising position.
My life, you've wanted me dead. Yes. But you refused to die. I respect that. I'd never let them execute you. Is that what you fear? You're a Lannister.
I don't believe you.
My son.
He says all these nice things now that he's got a crossbow pointed at him.
She was a whore.
Ooh.
Oh. Ooh.
Say that word again.
Not something you want to say right now.
Your own father in the privy. I am your son, and you sentenced me to die. You knew I didn't poison Joffrey. Afraid of a dead whore?
Oh.
No.
Shooting a man on the toilet.
Going out like
Told
Elvis.
you not to say it.
Let me just reload real quick.
I am your son. I have always been your son.
Oh.
Yes, dude.
Damn.
Heck yeah.
Tywin really getting killed on the toilet. Not what I was expecting.
Varys is like, oh shit. This was not the plan.
Yeah. Plans have changed. I've killed 2 people in the interim.
Including the
One of
most
those people
powerful
just happens
person
to be
in the
Tywin.
country. Those are the alarm bells.
Let me go back on the ship.
Varys is like, actually, maybe I shouldn't go and return
I'm
there.
safer.
I'm gonna go with you, Tyrion.
I'm safer over here instead of going back. But where will you go?
Yes. Yes. I know you're happy, Tyler. I know you are.
To an extent, yeah, definitely. Where will you go, Arya? Over there.
I mean, really the only place she can go.
The free city of Bravos.
Bravos.
More silver.
Yeah.
Oh, Arya off to Bravos.
Arya's off to have another adventure.
I love the theme here.
Off to see a new world.
I loved it.
Yes. Got our little notebook images, our little stickers of the episode for our themes here. Tyrion and his crossbow.
They need the stickers match.
As well as Bran, because it is called The Children. So, you know, Bran being the three-eyed raven. All right. Well, that was episode 10 of season 4, our 4th season finale. And pretty much since we only saw the wall last episode, they had a lot of stories to try to catch up on real quick to close out the season. So I guess we'll start off with the North and the Night's Watch. Jon went out to negotiate with Mance Rayder, who did accept him in, was listening, and basically said, look, we're scared and we just want to get beyond that wall because the freaking White Walkers are coming. That's what we want. So let us in or we're going to continue to attack until we get in, period. And then in middle of their conversation, surprise, Stannis Baratheon and his army
Out of nowhere.
arrive. And we see Maester Aemon still kicking it. For sure, the oldest person in the show, still fighting the good fight. So, how did you feel about everything that happened up with Jon and Stannis's converging storyline, Tyler?
I thought it was an interesting development, I guess you could say. I wasn't expecting Stannis to be there, so that was kind of a fun surprise. I knew he was eventually, heading that way, but I wasn't expecting him to get there at that point in time. The way that we wrap up stuff, at least Jon for now, I mean, some of it was pretty satisfying as we see final send off of all these people that he's, come to love, whether it be his Night Watch buddies or his actual love itself. It's going to be interesting to see where we leave off, I guess, in the next season. Because I think there's definitely a lot of stuff still to be had there.
All right. And James, your thoughts on that storyline up there?
Yeah, so I really enjoyed it because to me, at this point in the season, I knew I'm like, Jon is the only one that gets it. And I think that Davos gets it a little bit too. And he's like, okay, I think I'm with you, like seeing all these dead bodies. And I think, Stannis also understands the severity of everything going on. So I think Jon felt kind of vindicated, but of course it's hitting close to home for him now. So it's really right in his backyard and he had to keep that kind of off to the side, had that private burial like we talked about earlier. So I think that this for Jon is starting to get almost too close to home. So he's almost starting to worry like who else that I love will die in this war.
Theoretically, if there is a character who hasn't seen the others, the White Walkers, Stannis with Melisandre should be the most apt to understand and at least hear out someone talking about this kind of stuff.
Yeah, with their craziness that they've done in the past.
I mean,
magic.
He didn't directly see the shadow baby, but a shadow man from Melisandre won him the war against his brother. She has literally shown him stuff in the flames and all of that. So if there's a character who should be open to these ideas, you would think it'd be Stannis. So and he seemed to listen out and at least hear what Jon had to say. Well, then we saw Cersei's storyline in King's Landing. She is meeting with Qyburn, her new little fave, and Grand Maester Pycelle as they are trying to heal the mountain because, as we discussed in the episode in which he died-ish, not only did Oberyn really do some damage physically to him, he also lines his spears with poison, which they do in Dorne. So this a really strong, slow, deadly poison just eating the mountain away that they don't really have a cure for. But Qyburn, he seems confident he can do something. But then Cersei goes and confronts her father to say once more, I don't care what you tell me. I am not marrying Dolores Tyrell. I am not going to go to Highgarden. I'm not marrying him. And when Tywin tries to flex again, this is actually the second time one of his kids this season has shut him down. He tried to flex to get Jaime to quit the Night's Watch and go back to Casterly Rock, which Jaime did, or not the Night's Watch, the Kingsguard, to go back to Casterly Rock, and Jaime didn't do that. And now Cersei decided to drop the bomb of, no, it's true. Everything you have ever heard about me and Jaime is true, and I will tear down our family's legacy, which also would throw her son off of the Iron Throne if she did that. I don't think she wasn't quite thinking out the full plan. Just in the moment, she was like, how can I take my dad down real quick? And then she goes and has sex with her brother.
as you do in Game of Thrones.
As you do. The power play really got the juices flowing for Cersei, so she ran to Jaime quick. So, James, how did you feel about Cersei's little plot this episode?
So this was for me that turning point, like the baton of power was just transferred to Cersei. Like this was her moment to say, you know what, I'm planting my flag in the ground and I'm taking over. Like it's my time right now. And I love that she had that power move when she went to go see her brother. And of course, they did what they had to do. But I think that was also a power play in a way. So she's just continuing to like just show that she is a dominant force and one that should not be messed with. But I thought it was super interesting earlier, like right before her and her father had that conversation where they're looking over at the mountain. I think that they're hinting at almost like they want to heal him, but they almost want to make him stronger, maybe. I don't know. There was this little head nod, right? When they're like, hey, are you going to heal him? And he's like, oh no. I'm like, oh, really?
So she's like, I don't need actual Gregor Clegane back. He could be a shell. Just beef him up. I
Right.
need some strong monster. Thank you. But yeah, that's an interesting point, especially because Jamie was not particularly happy with Cersei coming into this episode because she was responsible for sentencing Tyrion to death. And obviously, Jamie did not want that to happen. So he wasn't really happy with her. And she turned that around as well and kind of reasserted her dominance in their relationship, too. So, how did you feel about Cersei's plot this episode, Tyler?
I mean, I agree 100% with basically everything that both of you have said so far about the relationship. So I don't really feel like I need to add too much onto it because I agree with everything. I am a little disappointed that the Mountain is not dead. I say, I guess if that's one thing I will add is that he's not dead. I want him dead. And I hope he dies. I hope it fails completely.
Justice for Oberyn.
I feel like he'll still be alive because they'll make him some weird Frankenstein, thing. Because that's what it seemed like they were alluding to. But I would hope it fails. I hope he dies.
And if you remember when we first met Pycelle, when he was with Jamie, he told him he got kicked out of the Citadel because he liked to experiment on living people to learn about life. So he's already has some weird practices in his past.
That sounds very Victor Frankenstein-ish.
Daenerys, she is hearing out her people still, like we've seen her do several times this season. As queen in Meereen, she is listening to her folks. And this man comes in and says, hey, all of this is great and all, but I was one of the bougie slaves. I was an inside the house slave who got to teach the kids, and I was treated nicely. And once all of this ended, I got thrown out on the street. So I kind of would just rather go back to being a slave and living with the family. Which Daenerys is like, no, we're not going to do that. But being free does mean you get to make your own choices for yourself. So we'll let you make a contract, but it can only last up to a year. You can go back to your slave master and work for him again for a year.
You're an employee. You're not a slave.
I know. I'm like, no, we're not letting you decide to go back into slave. I'm sorry. No, we can't. But then a much more tragic problem comes to the door as a man brings in the bones of his 3-year-old daughter. And we learned that Drogon torched her and flew away. So Daenerys, realizing that she really does not have control over these dragons and doesn't really know what to do to control them, decides that she needs to lock them up. Of course, Drogon is gone. They don't know where he flew off to. So she just gets Viserion and Rhaegal and lures them down and locks them up in this little dungeon. She cries and she leaves. So yeah, how did you feel about that storyline, Tyler, with Daenerys?
As far as the stuff with the dragons, it was sad to see, but I mean, I guess it is the right thing to do. Just at least for the interim, kind of keep them down there so they're not raising havoc. Although the one that is raising all of the havoc is the one that's still out there. So I guess
he's also the one that torched those sheep, at least that we saw.
That's what I mean. It seems like Drogon is the one that's causing all of this turmoil out in the wild. So I'm wondering when he's going to show up again and what that's going to entail as far as Daenerys. I guess you got to lay down the law somehow with this dragon. But we'll see, I guess. but it's nice to see that she's still at least trying to do the right thing, leading these people. It's definitely the great move to kind of basically be like, you have free will. You don't have to be a slave to people. It's a great thing to see. She's still trying to do the best thing possible. But seems like the people themselves, they don't seem to want the best thing possible. They want to go back to their old lives where they were slaves. I don't know why, I guess, but oh well.
James, how did you feel about Daenerys' storyline?
So this was such an interesting moment because I feel like this is what exposed her blind spots as a leader. So she was like, oh, okay, I feel like I'm doing the right thing, but she's forgetting about the little in-betweens. Okay, there are certain exceptions. Not everyone is going to enjoy this lifestyle, or you still have dragons that are flying around that could honestly char the entire city if they wanted to. And that unfortunately happened in the case of that one child. So I do think Daenerys is starting to struggle a little bit with not exactly having everything go her way. And I think this is now going to be a very important moment in her life as a leader in terms of what she does next. So I loved it. I thought it was very well done, very well shot. But I also think that those two dragons, they ain't so happy. So what happens when you unchain them?
The mother of dragons without any dragons currently around her. So one of our guests this season thinks I think thinks her story is a little bit boring in season 4, but I actually really like her story in season 4, pretty much for the reasons you said, because up until she takes Marine, she's like Daenerys the Conqueror. She's going to these places, she's freeing slaves along the way, and in the process, kind of taking over cities. But season 4, she settles down and decides to try to rule, and it's been a learning curve for her as a queen. It's been more difficult, I think, than she had anticipated. And then she's excusing people like Jorah who've been there and her dragons. But there are conspiracy theories, if you will, that we have to say Drogon allegedly was the one who killed this child, because there are many a conspiracy theory that it was not Drogon who actually did it.
It's just a pattern from her.
It was more of a plot, more of a scheme underneath the child's burnt body.
I can see it.
Yeah,
Oh.
I mean, I guess just based on what we've seen in
From
previous
Drogon.
episodes, what Drogon's attitude.
He's also like her favorite. So, homegirl, you were too lenient on him. You let Drogon do too much when he was little. Then we see Hodor, Bran, Jojen, and Mira. I'm pretty sure for the first time since episode 2 of this season.
For the first time in ages.
And they had the vision of the tree, and we never saw them again until now. And they made it to the tree. Yay! But there are corpses coming alive to stop them from their mission. And in the process, Bran once again has to take over Hodor, because as strong and as great of endurance he has, he is the definition of a gentle giant. He is not about this fighting life. It's not what he wants in life.
Poor Hodor.
But Bran, he'll get in the action. So he walks into Hodor again, and we see Jojen get taken down. And in order for him not to get like a long, painful death, his sister Mira does kill him, which is a sad moment for her for sure. But they meet a child of the forest, this little woman who helps them into this magical cave that leads into the tree. And we see for the first time the actual three-eyed raven. We've seen the dream version several times throughout the year of that three-eyed raven. So, James, how did you feel about Bran's story?
So I thought it was okay, maybe not a popular choice, but this was my favorite moment in the entire episode, actually. Even though I know everyone's probably going to say Tywin's death, like, oh, that's huge. But for me, this was the most emotional because Jojen's death wasn't just unexpected, but the way he actually died. Because yes, you can say that, those undead killed him, but his sister had to be the one to actually finish the job. And I'm like, oh my gosh, no. This is the hardest thing in the world. She could have just walked away, but she understood it would have been a slow death, and that would have been even worse. She couldn't sleep with herself. But now, I mean, how can you actually live with yourself that you killed your brother? So I think that was super emotional, one. But two, the fact that we start to really get hints that Bran is starting to tap into some sort of power that maybe he didn't even know the extent of. He had an idea of, but now that he's there and he's facing the three-eyed raven, he is starting to realize, oh my gosh, this is bigger than me right now. So to me, that was the most hype. That is the one thing I'm looking forward to diving into next season.
All right, and Tyler?
Yeah, I mean, I agree 100%, except for the fact that it wasn't my favorite moment in the episode. Other than that, I agree 100%. But it was still a good moment. It was also just nice to see them once again because it had been so long. I did make the joke, like, who are these people? Because we haven't seen them for so long. It was shocking to see Jojen go out in that way. It's interesting to see, I guess, the potential of where Bran's character is going to go now as we see the actual three-eyed raven. Yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see, because one of the things, Bran's storyline for a long time wasn't one of my favorites, just because it wasn't that interesting altogether. But it seems like we're finally getting to like the meat of something with Bran and company that is going to be an exciting storyline. I hope. I'm just predicting, I'm just guessing. I hope so, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think this is probably my favorite Bran moment up to this point in the series. I mean, he has had a few other good moments, but finally, we're getting more about what the hell he's been doing. Like, we've been hearing about this three-eyed raven stuff, and we finally are getting a little bit more of that. So it certainly is interesting. Well, then we have another storyline convergence happening as Brienne and Podrick are on the road and they run into Arya and the Hound. We see Arya quickly start to warm up to Brienne because she's just like, oh my gosh, this is a badass woman. This is like what I have been wanting to see and look up to my whole life. Until the Hound is like, wait a minute though. I'm pretty sure that's Lannister still. And I'm pretty sure you're here for the bounty on me, which obviously leads Brienne to be like, oh, wait a minute, this is Arya Stark, one of the two Stark daughters that I've been looking for, except we all thought you were dead, Arya. So she says, I'm going to take her and fulfill my oath to Catelyn. The Hound says, no, the hell you're not, because there's nowhere safe you can take her. She's staying with me. Thus, the battle ensues. The Hound versus Brienne. And it starts all right, starts, standard little sword battle, and it quickly gets nasty. The Hound grabs that sword. They're kicking each other in the groins, smashing heads in with rocks, biting off ears, until finally Brienne gets the best of the Hound. He goes falling off that cliff and is obviously badly injured, both from the fight itself and that leg from the fall. He begs Arya in one of the most vulnerable exchanges the Hound has ever had on the show, begging her to just kill him. And like a savage, she decides to go ahead and just snatch that cash and let him die slowly and painfully instead.
Cold-hearted.
But then we see her at the very end of the episode. She finds a man from Bravos and does as she was instructed earlier. If she ever wants to find Jaqui and Hagar again, give that coin to a man of Bravos and say Valar Margulis. And now she's on her way. So, Tyler, how did you feel about everything with Arya, Brienne, and the Hound?
It was exciting just to see those characters converge. It's always cool to see in the series itself, seeing certain characters converge that we really haven't seen ever converge. So it's just great in that sense. I mean, that was awesome seeing Brienne take on the Hound. That just is such a cool matchup. Even if the fight itself didn't start out that great as far as visuals go, because once they start clashing those swords and we're getting like 10,000 different camera angles during this sword fight, it became a little bit nauseating to watch. But once we got into like the nitty gritty, like dirt, like literally in the dirt kind of fighting, that's when it became a lot more exciting to watch. And it was brutal. Brienne getting the upper hand, the Hound in this horrible position with his broken leg beaten to a pulp. I hope he lives. I mean, we didn't see him die because that's usually the method I go for as a huge horror fan. If I don't see them dead, I imagine that there's a possibility that they're not actually dead. That's just how I go. That's a horror fan in me. So I assume because Arya didn't kill him, he'll show up again, hopefully, somehow, whether he's like missing a leg or like he's got like a robot leg or some ridiculous attachments to keep him upright. Whatever they have in this world, we got magic working on his brother over there. So who knows? But I am interested to see where Arya's going. I guess you could say, like, what we obviously know where she's going, but like, what is she looking for? I mean, what is her purpose for going other than just another adventure? I guess at this point, because now that she's kind of free, just to do whatever she wants now, because she doesn't even have the Hound around. It's unfortunate she didn't go with Brienne though. I think that would have been a really cool team of Brienne, Podrick, and her. Yeah. But maybe next time.
James, how'd you feel about that storyline?
I thought it was really cool. It was very layered. Like Tyler said, it wasn't just, the Hound and Brienne. It was also, Arya starting to try to get one step ahead and say, okay, now I got to really plan this journey out for myself. I don't have the Hound anymore. So I loved that moment too, where she's just staring at him and there's this cold stare, like you mentioned, Larry. Oh, it was so amazing. What a great moment of acting, honestly, just with her eyes. And then when she gets on the ship, I think that is one of the, one of the more mysterious cliffhangers. Like at the moment, I remember not having any theories. Like, I didn't know what she was going to do next because literally there is no real breadcrumbs that were left for us to know where she's off to, and well, of course, what she's going to do when she gets to Bravos. Now, what I did love was that Brienne won that fight because I thought she was going to lose. I thought she was going to be the one to go off the cliff. But the fact that it was the reverse, I was like, yes, this is just the best way they could have handled this. And Tyler, I don't know, man. Robotic legs, it's maybe possible. So maybe he
Hey,
comes
I
back to
mean,
you.
Jamie's got a hand. He's got a cool hand. So give him a leg.
It's one of those interesting things. As for how it's shot, it's also pretty glaring coming off of episode 9, which was such an amazingly shot battle. Like we had this huge one take, these big choreographed fights that didn't cut away much at all. I mean, it was really one of the better directed episodes, certainly. But we've even seen like fights with Brienne, with the Hound, one-on-one type fights a lot. And they were not shot that cut. So it's not either of the actors can't do the stunts or anything. So it was a little bit weird, but we got there. But it was the weight. We've come to really like the Hound. Of course, we love Brienne. So you're kind of like, oh, I don't want either of these characters to die.
That was me.
I would prefer not to have the Hound die either at this point. If you would have asked me like 2 seasons ago, I would have been like, yeah, kill the Hound. But now I'm like, no. Yeah, it's a tough one. Well, then we get to that big moment of the episode. So Jamie decides he's not going to just sit by and watch his brother get executed. So he goes to his cell and frees Tyrion. They have a really sweet emotional goodbye. But Tyrion is not quite content. He sees that he's at the Tower of the Hand and decides to go investigate a little bit. And when he enters his father's bedroom, there, lying in his father's bed, is Shay. And when she sees Tyrion, she goes to grab the knife, and a rather brutal, emotional death ensues between the two, where Tyrion has to kill Shay. Obviously, pretty emotional stuff for Tyrion. But clearly, he's not done. So he grabs that crossbow and decides to go find his father, who is sitting on the toilet.
What a way. What a way to go.
The dignified Tywin Lannister. And Tyrion basically is confronting him like, you know I did not kill Joffrey, and you let this farce go on. You let Cersei sentence me to death. I don't know if I believe Tywin when he says he was not going to let Tyrion die that following day. Didn't feel that genuine.
No.
But he was running out of options, and he made the mistake of calling Shay a whore one too many times. Got a bolt to the chest and decided, you know what, we're gonna lash out one last time and just, you are not my son. You are no son of mine, Tyrion. And I love that the last thing Tywin hears is Tyrion tell him, yes, I am, and I always have been your son. And kills his father. Varys, who was a part of Jaime's original deal to smuggle Tyrion out of King's Landing, walks in and is like, what the hell? Come on, Tyrion.
That wasn't part of the plan.
He gets Tyrion on the crate, on the boat to get out of there. And when he hears those bells ringing, signifying the death of Tywin, is like, I'm actually going to go. I'm not going to return to King's Landing. I'm going to jump on the ship as well.
Yeah, never mind.
I do love that this adds that layer to Varys, because I think other than Shay, one of the most surprising confessions at Tyrion's trial was Varys coming forward and testifying against Tyrion. You're like, oh, really, Varys? But this kind of exposes a more long-term sneaky plan with Varys, as per usual. He has to do things on the surface while he helps make these underground moves to help Tyrion in the long run. So, Tyler, how did you feel about that plot this episode?
I mean, it's definitely a lot to take in from start to finish when you lay everything out. That was just, tragic. See, the whole stuff with Shay. I mean, we've already seen the betrayal, and this feels like an even worse betrayal because it's just bad. And it's in his bed, and then you show up, and then she tries to kill you. So, so it's like didn't even mince words. There was no conversation, no need to explain anything. Just we're just gonna fight to the death, basically. So that was an emotional scene, just seeing him have to do that, after, because he did love her so much, even in spite of all the terrible things that he's had to say to her to try and get her to leave. And then in that betrayal, you think she leaves, but then she comes back and betrays him wholeheartedly. The stuff with Tywin, that was a shocker. I wasn't expecting him to get killed on the toilet. What a way to go, But definitely one of the more dignified, I guess, conversations in television history between someone on the toilet. Definitely one of the better scenes, if I've ever seen one, where someone was on the toilet talking to somebody. Yeah, just a lot of emotional weight there, especially because it's their final conversation, and you could definitely see Tywin's kind of gears working to try and weasel his way, outwit his way out of that situation. But he just doesn't care about certain things that he says, and that's what ends up getting him self-killed. He calls Shay a whore multiple times, and he just, that's what he gets, frankly. I mean, it's unfortunate, I guess. That's the way he go out.
Mask that arrogance so much.
Yeah,
it seeps out.
It's just interesting that Tyrion even went through all this trouble. Like freedom was right there, but it's like, I gotta go punch myself so a worse ticket. I gotta go kill Shay, I gotta go kill my dad, and then I'll leave.
James, how'd you feel about all of that?
Boy, that was, for me, I remember standing up and clapping, and just audibly cheering for Tyrion. I was so happy that he did that because, to be honest, he, like Tyler said, he didn't have to do that. He could have just left. But the thing is, I think he understood, okay, I need to do this for me. If there's only one thing I'm going to do for me right now, it's go and confront my father. And I honestly think, Tyrion always was going to kill his father, but his father just really made it worse for himself. I mean, he got 2 bolts to the heart, I think it was. Oh gosh. So I think that Tywin definitely deserved it. His time was coming to an end anyway, and we saw that with the previous interaction with Cersei, his power struggle was starting to get super real, and I loved that Varys decides to still help Tyrion out. The only thing is with me though, I remember in this moment I thought to myself, okay, is this gonna make Tyrion's life much harder? He probably could have just killed Shay and left, but he decided to go and literally kill Tywin, which is probably gonna put a bigger target on his head. So that bullseye is huge now. So everyone's gonna be looking for him. So I think that this entire scene was shot great. I love the silence. You didn't really hear too much of a score the entire time. It was just very quiet. So I love the way that this was directed. For me, this is probably the most well-directed moment of the entire episode.
Was that crossbow Joffrey's crossbow?
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's fitting, I suppose. Even in death, Joffrey's crossbow gets one more fun action scene.
Well, this season we lost the king and we lost the true king, if you will, because Tywin has been pretty much sitting in that throne for this entire time since Robert died. So
poor Tommen. Tommen, you in danger. People gonna be fighting over you. Your mom and your soon-to-be wife.
I have to say, Tywin and his time throughout the show was always my biggest love to hate character because I always thought he was such a good character that I hated. I obviously was like, oh my God, this guy is such an ass and he's so terrible to Tyrion and he orchestrated the Red Wedding. So I hate him.
Yeah.
But he's just such a smart, I don't know, he has such a Charles Dance killed it, first of all. And he has such a presence on screen. And now you're like, oh shit, what does that do? That means Cersei's about to be unchecked and
I guess also that means her wedding might not happen. So
it won't.
I think Cersei will murder Loras at this point before she lets herself, because obviously she doesn't care right now. She does not give an if about it. So Tyler, we've been kind of talking about it. Obviously, James can't participate in this part because he knows what happens in season 5. But here we are. Tywin Lannister dead. Tyrion on the run. Arya on the ship out to Braavos. The Hound left for dead with Brienne and Podrick looking for Arya, just kind of blindly looking once again.
And she goes like the furthest place away from them, basically.
Daenerys locked up her dragons, or 2 of the 3, and is struggling to maintain peace in her new free cities. And we see that Stannis has arrived and is demanding that the wildlings pledge loyalty to him as king. So, what are your predictions for season 5?
I mean, some of them are just so vague in where they leave off that I feel like I can't really predict much. Like with Arya, like I don't know I know where she's going. I don't know what she's doing when she gets there. Because I don't really know exactly where Bran's storyline's going. So, but hopefully we get to unlock more of his abilities and we get to see him do some more cool stuff in the next season.
Level up, Bran.
I imagine there's going to still be some conflict amongst everyone when it comes to Stannis. I do think he'll probably be more accepting of the fact that, winter is coming and, there's crazy supernatural stuff at foot. I think that's definitely culminate in something pretty wild and crazy. I don't know if it'll be immediately in the next season, but probably at some point in time. I imagine that Daenerys is going to have some sort of confrontation with Drogon eventually. Be like, a stern talking to of some kind. Like, hey, can you stop like killing everyone, please? But you're kind of making me look bad here as I'm trying to like help everyone. You're trying to burn everyone alive and all this stuff. Maybe cool it down a little bit. I guess I would say in the same vein as Arya. I don't know where the heck we're going with Brienne and Podrick. They're kind of just stuck somewhere. I hope somebody along the way, one of these characters runs into Jorah just because like he's somewhere out in the world, like on his own. So hopefully somebody runs into Jorah at some point, whether it be Brienne and Podrick or Arya or hell, anyone. I'll take anyone at this point. I want to know where Jorah is.
Tyrion and Varys.
Wherever they're going. I don't know where they're going either.
They're just headed out. We don't know. There's lots of people just on the move to who knows where and who knows why.
Yeah, that seems to be the where we leave off a lot of the storylines, at least the end of season 4 and the season 5. It's just we'll wait and see where all of these people land.
To James, we'll ask you for the full series up until this point, and especially if you remember as you were watching it, who were at the end of season 4, who were your favorite characters and your least favorite characters in the show?
Oh, that's a great question, Larry. Okay, so my favorites, of course, Tyrion, like he's in the S tier. Arya, I believe, is also up there, and I remember Brienne. I liked her, I didn't love her up until this point. I loved her here. This is what really won me over on her completely. So she's up there as well. Now, when it comes to least Jaime. I love Jaime. I mean, that goes without saying, though, right? We just love that guy. So, sorry, Larry. I don't know. Do you love Jaime?
We got there. It started rough.
Yeah, it's up and down.
First 2 seasons, no love for Jaime. Even like a couple episodes into the 3rd season, I slowly started coming around. So 3 and 4 were good.
Okay, good. And then the bottom tier for me, honestly, I love Cersei, but I hate her. You know what I mean? So she was always.
I feel the same.
I was like, I had on my hate list, but it's such a great character, similar to your feelings with Tywin and Charles Dance's performance. So I think that the other character I didn't care too much for by this point probably would be Shay, and I think that's not because I don't think she's a good compliment or was a good compliment to Tyrion, but I just think that like, gosh, like how are you gonna do that? How like I already don't like you too much because I thought you were just toxic for him. Like, I mean, yeah, they were good together, but there was always something in the back of my mind that said, don't trust Shay completely. Something about her. And look what she does. She just totally just like throws it off like the wayside just by sleeping with Tywin. So yeah, definitely didn't like Shay too much. I definitely didn't like Cersei, even though I love her. But yeah.
It wasn't in this episode, but no mention on the dislikes for Ramsay.
Ooh, you know what? Yeah, I have to be careful with what I say, of course.
It's easy to forget because he wasn't here this episode, but
right. I could not stand him. Every time he was on screen, pure hatred. And I don't hate anyone, but I hate Ramsay. That's
fair.
Just a terrible, terrible person. Oh, and then another person that I love, I mean, I hope it goes without saying, but Jon Snow, right? Like, I just love Jon so much.
We've gotten lots of content. We've gotten lots of blowback.
Yeah.
Really?
We do. Well, no, not. So we talked about Jock and Hagar this episode. People were quite shook in our season 2 character ranking. Jock and Hagar was above Jon Snow, as was Renly Baratheon, which made our chat not so happy.
I was okay with it.
So,
You were okay with it, Tyler? No.
I think he did. He got higher in season 3, and I have a feeling he'll probably be a little bit higher even in season 4. Season 4 has been a good season for Jon. Those first 2 seasons, though, particularly season 2, a lot of wandering for Jon. Not a lot of stuff was happening with Jon Snow for a while, but
I wasn't on the hype train at that point.
He's doing things now, so we'll see. So Tyler, we'll get your full season 4 ranking on our live stream ranking. Who were your favorite episode or your favorite characters for this episode, and least favorite characters?
In no particular order, like Brienne, Arya. Jon Snow was pretty good too. Jamie. I mean, even the Hound wasn't that bad. I mean, I still like the Hound despite everything.
No Tyrion love?
I'm trying to say. I mean, Tyrion was great. I mean, it was just a lot of murder for a lot of murder for Tyrion.
An important murder, though. Important. It was very important.
Right. Dislikes of this episode: Tywin, Shay. I'll just throw the Mountain in there, even though he doesn't.
Because he was there. Because he was living.
He's alive, and I'm angry that he's alive. So I'll throw him in there. So. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's like the main ones. I don't really care too much about. There wasn't really anything there for like Mance Rayder or Stannis. Stannis didn't really do anything bad this episode, so I can't really dislike him for it. Even though I've not been like overly fond of him in previous episodes, but like he didn't do anything to warrant me hating him this episode.
Well, this episode we say R.I.P. Peace out to Jojen Reed, to Shay, to Tywin, and presumably to the Hound. So it's a lot of deaths. I'll say that for a season finale. That's the thing. Season 9 or episode 9s on this show usually give us death. Season finales have not really been notorious for a lot of character deaths. And I think that's what, like, season 4, you're just like, whoa, there's like, I mean, Tywin's death is probably one of the biggest like game changers so far in this entire series. Other than Ned, it was like Ned's death was a huge game changer. The Red Wedding was a big game changer, and all that. And now we have Tywin's death, which is like a big like, oh shit, what's gonna happen? So, big episodes. Thank you so much, James, for coming on and watching and reacting with us. I hope you all enjoyed our reaction. If you did, click that like button down below and subscribe to the channel so you are always up to date on all of my latest videos, including each and every one of our Game of Thrones reactions, and so that you are around for our season 4 character live stream. And James, why don't you let everybody watching know where they can find you?
Of course. First of all, Larry, thank you for having me on here. It was so great, and I really can't wait to see the rest of the reaction series because Tyler's about to get kind of crazy, sir. So I mean, just
about to.
We're halfway through. We're halfway through the series.
They're about to get crazy. It's already been crazy.
Yes.
What do you mean?
But I can't wait to keep up with this. You guys have been doing great work, and if you do want to find what I do on YouTube, just search Real James, REEL James on YouTube, and you'll find a ton of reviews, reactions, and all the news in between. And on social media, you can find me at It's Real James on all of the major platforms. Again, Larry, thank you so much for this.
And Tyler, where can everyone find you?
Well, if you search up my name on here, you'll find my channel where I do reviews, reactions, rankings, all that jazz, much like James does, and Larry, of course. And on Twitter and Instagram, it's Tyler Calvert.
These two with the "it's" in front of their names. So just start typing in "it's" and they'll both pop up. You can just click them and follow them.
Someone already had my actual username, so I had to be creative. Okay.
Oh, okay. For both of you. Perfect. Well, make sure that you subscribe and follow both of them. Of course, those links are going to be in the description below. And let us know, was this your favorite season finale up to this point? Were you shook with what happened? Were you conflicted in that Brienne versus the Hound fight? Leave all your comments on season 4, episode 10 in the comment section down below. And of course, you can hit all 3 of us up on Twitter. I love you all so much for your continued support. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.